Good morning. Bob Monroe here, and coming to you from Vancouver, BC, Canada. Actually, I'm in Burnaby, right next door, but it is Sunday, March the 16th, 2025. I'll just speak to you for a few minutes. I'll keep this brief, primarily about all this trade wars and stuff that's going on between Canada and the United States. Some things to think about. Okay, this is coming from an old farm boy that's done many things over the years, but um, I don't think most of us realize how tightly connected trade is with Canada and the US. Goods that are produced in Canada, goods that are produced in the United States, a great many of the resources, ingredients, components of those products come cross border. So I'm certainly one for supporting Made in Canada. Absolutely. I look for that. And I, 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, I don't know. I will buy Canadian made where and when I can and when it is the best deal. Okay. But if I can get a better product at a better price, I'll buy US made in China, made in, I don't care where it's made. Okay. And I think I should be allowed to do that. Okay. I also think we should have free trade between Canada and the United States, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. But I want to tell you a little story here. It's true. And I know this from personal experience. Back, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I was part of a farming corporation, myself and a bunch of friends of mine. They put all the money in. I did a lot of the legwork. We built a fairly large farming corporation back in Saskatchewan. We got up to, I think, almost 20,000 acres, owned and or leased, owned most of it. And here's the little story that you might find interesting. I don't know if any of you will remember or even have heard about Bush's corn for ethanol in the United States. Back in those days, fuel was short there. They're still struggling with it, but they put out this great program that encouraged and what's the word I'm looking for? The farmers benefited. There was concessions given. I don't know if they paid cash. I don't remember all the details, but they actually encouraged and made it financially smart for farmers to grow corn to supply the ethanol plants. And guess what happened? All these US farmers that were growing wheat, oats, barley, peas, whatever they were growing, a lot of them switched to growing corn. What do you think that caused? Well, it caused a shortage of other crops that Quaker Oats needed oats for their oat mills. Anheuser-Busch needed barley for their breweries. Well, what do you think happened? I'll tell you what happened. And I don't know, there's probably other farming corporations. What we did up there in northern Saskatchewan, where we had the farm, we contacted Quaker Oats. We said, listen, we got some of the finest oat growing property in North America, which we do up in that area where I grew up. You can grow oats at 150 bushel the acre, I swear to God. Okay. So we rounded up a whole bunch of farmers in the area, and Quaker Oats sent somebody up to meet. And at the end of the deal, they said, listen, we'll buy all the oats you can produce, we'll pay you a premium for it. We load it in rail cars, ship it down to the Quaker oat mills. It helped solve a problem. It was good for both sides. Okay. Anheuser-Busch was next. We grow pretty good malt barley up in Saskatchewan. Guess what? Wasn't too long before we were shipping malted barley down to Anheuser-Busch. Now, who benefited by that? Canada did, the US did. Think about that. Many, many, many products. I don't care if they're agricultural products. I don't care if they're equipment, whatever it is. This is nonsense. And these children that are running the governments on both sides of the border, they don't give a shit about you and I or your neighbors who may be producing products that are going in their ingredients, components that are going to the US or vice versa. We should be, as Canadians and as Americans, we should be allowed to buy whatever products we can get into our country, whatever we want. Most politicians, I'm not saying there aren't any honest politicians out there, but most of them, I believe, get into this for their own benefit. They don't give a shit, pardon my French, but they don't give a shit about you and I. They're in there for themselves and for their buddies. So think twice before you poo-poo all over the Americans and the American products, because there's a pretty good chance, depending on the product, it has a Canadian component, and vice versa. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. Think about it. And oh, the other thing, being an old farm boy, my dad used to say, "Son, good fences make good neighbors." Now, if you see your neighbor's cow over the fence out in your field eating your crop or laying in it and damaging the crop, it's not a good thing. Well, we had great neighbors. We had good fences. We had good relationships with our neighbors. Same thing, our cattle could have got out. We maintained good fences. Here we've got a border that is so massive. I mean, I'm no expert on how the hell you're going to maintain that, but it's a problem. And it's a bigger problem than you and I realize. Okay. And I fully believe the amount of drugs and other things that are crossing that border illegally is, they talk about what they know of, not what they don't know of. It's time to use our heads, folks. Anyway, I'll wrap this up. Thank you for listening. I hope it gave you some food for thought. And love you. Have a great day. St. Patty's Day tomorrow. Got my green t-shirt on already. Okay. Cheers.